Welcome to the Coach Nick Ledbetter Show. Nick, welcome back home.
Good to be back. Glad to be back home.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit. I know you're a Plainview graduate, of course, and for those that probably don't know you that well, tell us a little bit about your background, where you've been coaching, what you've been doing over the last few years.
Well, 2000 was when I first started coaching. I was a 7th and 8th grade volunteer at Plainview, and I was under Coach Pruitt, and then Clay McCall come in 2001, and I was a volunteer assistant with Clay McCall for 2001, 2002. Then I went to the University of Alabama, where I was a student assistant under Coach Franchione, Mike Price, and Mike Shula. And Mike Shula's second year, I was a GA. I became a graduate assistant after I graduated from college. And in the fall of that same year, I guess it was 2005, in the fall of 2005, DAR opened their first football team in the school history in 2005. So I had a chance to come back home, be close to home at DAR. And it wasn't any lot to mess up because those kids never played football before. So that was the first year they played, and we went 6-4, I believe we won 6 ball games that year. And then Coach Pruitt called me at the end of that year and asked me to take the defensive coordinator job at Plainview. And I was defensive coordinator from 2006 to 2013. And then we had a lot of baseball success also during that time. And Scottsboro called and offered me the head baseball job at Scottsboro. I was there 2 years. And then Matt Putnam left Hazel Green, which is a good friend of mine from growing up. He offered me a defensive coordinator job at Sylvania, which is where I've been the last 3 years. And so this will be my 3rd time back at Plainview coaching, just in a different capacity this time.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back, and I know the community is excited about you coming back home and taking over the program. You took over in the summer. I don't know exactly when it was.
Middle of June. First part of the middle of June.
Yeah, and I know you hit the pavement running when you took over that job, and last year Plainview was very successful. I think finished the season at 9-2, if I'm not mistaken. There,
area champions.
But they lost a lot of seniors. I think 26 maybe, if I'm not mistaken. There was about 26 seniors that graduated last year. So, tell us a little bit about this year's team and who you're counting on and that kind of thing.
We're still senior, junior heavy. I mean, we have a lot of guys that, especially up front with a lot of experience, that's coming back on our offensive and defensive line, and got a couple linebackers back as well. And as far as the ability and team, we have a really good football team as far as talent. We have a talented team. We just have a lot of kids playing in positions, and they're playing. A lot of them's playing some of the same positions they've played the last few years, but because it was senior heavy last year, they've not got any varsity experience. So.
Right.
That's our biggest learning curve, is the guys that's on the field that didn't play last year, but they're also very capable kids, or we wouldn't put them on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit, I know maybe offensive line probably going to be our strong point this year.
Yes.
Some returning starters on the offensive line. I know we lost a lot of skilled players. So talk a little bit about our offensive line.
Offensive line's anchored by 77 Ashley Spagner, Jonathan Brown, Alex Gonzalez, David Mejia. Matthew Gomez is a kid that played elf fullback and a little bit of blocking back in the spring under Coach Goodwin. We've moved him down to offensive line, and he's done a really, really good job. A kid we can count on. Another senior is Jacob Totherow, who's going to help us a lot. Mason Cooper's a freshman. He's going to be able to help us up front as well. So we have a lot of guys up front that can help us move the ball, and it is our strength. Our offensive line and defensive line is definitely going to be our guys we're going to have to lean on this year. And we have 2 seniors that's injured. I'll mention their name, Hayden Casey and Ryan Rosner. We should get them back at some point in time, hopefully before the season's over with. But those are some other guys that can help us up front.
Yeah. As far as skilled people or running back, I think from what I've seen, we've got several, looks like good-looking kids at running back this year.
We got several that can tote the ball. We have Tony Rodriguez that can tote the ball. He'll be a senior. We got Drew Smith that can carry the football, be a senior. We got Jesse Davis who can carry the football, be a senior. Trey Greenwood can carry the football for us on some outside runs, and Christian Troyce, another senior that can carry for us. And I believe as far as the backfield, we have some young kids that can run as well. I mean, we have some. I'm pretty excited over our backfield. We have a lot of guys that can tote the ball for us. And another one's Brody McCurdy.
Yeah.
He was a tight end in the spring. We've moved him to that for that blocking back, and he's also going to carry the ball for us. And he's a big one to bring down.
Oh, absolutely. One thing, and I probably I didn't mention this, but you come in, over the past few years, Plainview's been in the spread offense, or what I would call the spread offense. So what kind of offense have you got in place for the Bears this year?
Well, we're running a variated wing tee. I mean, we're still spread, but we're removing as many people out of the box to run a football. We want to throw the football when we want to throw the football, and take control and be as balanced as we possibly can. Yeah. Some of the formations may look similar to what people's been seeing, but we'll definitely be blocking down and kicking and wrapping a lot with all kinds of different people.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the quarterback situation. I know Bailey Dukes graduated last year, was a phenomenal quarterback for the Plainview Bears, and of course he has graduated, and actually he's going to be on the show with us on our scoreboard show, and also a couple other shows we'll be doing. But talk about our quarterback situation.
Yeah, Bailey was a good one. I got to coach him in the 7th and 8th grade when he was coming up. We have Noah White's a freshman. Then we have Brody Parker, who's a sophomore, and Andrew McCullough, which is a senior. All three of those guys have been taking a lot of snaps, kind of been splitting the reps up. We are moving it. We're going to let them kind of play into sync a little bit. We have a couple of them, or three of them. They all have something different about them. I'm not going to say which kid has what about them, but we have one who's very calm, cool, and collected. We have one that throws the ball better than the other ones, and we have another one that has a little bit of a take charge a little bit. But they all have different aspects that they can help us win by, and they're still competing, and we're going to give them their opportunity to take the position.
All right, let's talk a little bit of defense. I know, of course, that's probably your specialty. You come in as a defensive coordinator, and so I know you like to talk defense. So talk a little bit about our defense and what kind of returners we have there, and who you're counting on, in the defensive backfield, and at linebackers, and then on the line also.
We have we graduated a lot of guys in defense, secondary wise, and a couple of linebackers graduated a lot as well. Some good ball players, but we have some. I feel like linebacker. I feel pretty good about us linebacker. We're not as deep as I'd like to be at linebacker, but I feel like we got 5 or 6 guys that can rotate in and help us. So, Drew Smith and Charlie Serrano will be the 2 anchors as far as the linebacker that's back. And then up front, same as offensive line, those same guys I mentioned: Ashley Spigner, Jonathan Brown, Alex Gonzalez, David Mejia. All those guys is going to be able to play up front for us and help us on the defensive front. Secondary was a lot of new faces on the secondary. Again, they've not had a ton of reps as far as varsity action last year. The one with the most was probably Christian Troyce, but we have guys very capable. They just got to get that experience under their belt.
Right. Yeah. I did get to see a couple of 7-on-7 camps, and very impressed. So talk a little bit about the fall camp and how it's went, and just how things are going so far up to this point.
Fall camps kind of we have been having our good days and been having our bad days. But we're trying to instill a lot of toughness in these kids, and we've had some that's jumped right in and busted their tails every day and been grinding, and we have some it's kind of fell back or left us, and then we've also gained some. So it's we're still building. I feel pretty good about going into the season, though. I think we got a core, solid group that been doing a really, really good job, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah. Speaking about the season, this is game week. I think we travel down to Collinsville on Thursday night, and so talk a little bit about this Collinsville team. I know they're bringing back 21 starters from last year, and
Yes.
it's going to be a great test. It sounds like for the Plainview Bears.
It is. They have a really good football team. I don't know when the last time Plainview and Collinsville played in regular season. I'm sure somebody probably find that stat. I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But they have a really good football team. Got some good skill guys. All their lines back. They have 11 returners on offense. Got 10 returners on offense and 11 returners on defense. So I'm sure we've been learning a lot all summer and repping the last few weeks. They're probably getting bored in what they do, and they're adding stuff. So we got to deal with all the stuff they're going to show us. They're going to show us some things we've not seen on film and not seen them do. Just because they have that much experience coming back. We just got to be able to adjust and make sure we know our jobs. But obviously Caleb Jones, quarterback, very dangerous kid at quarterback. Mason McKinney's got it, runs the ball, and they send him out at wide receiver. He's number 14. He's a good ball player. Jared Barkley, wide receiver that runs very, very well. And Michael Tucker's another receiver that they bounce in and bounce back. They up front, they average on the light side 220, on the high side 250. All the way across. So they are very solid up front. got a good football team. So we definitely have our hands full.
Oh, yeah. Coach Willingham's done a great job down at Collinsville, and you know, talking about you're talking a little bit about when the last time. I'm not sure when we played them last, but I know back in the Stone Ages when I played, you know, we always played Collinsville, man, and I tell you what, they were always one of the better teams that we played in the county. Just a phenomenal football team, and you know that community takes their football serious down at Collinsville. So
They do. They have very, very good support
Yeah.
at Collinsville.
Well, I know we've got two guys that we're going to bring in here now, Ashley Spigner, who is on the offensive line, and Drew Smith. And so we'll get these guys in here, and we'll talk a little bit about them, and you know, and then we may talk a little more about the schedule. And I know Plainview's got a tough schedule coming in this year. So.
Drew's our Sam linebacker, one of our defensive anchors, and also one of our running backs. And Ashley plays wherever we need him. He can play. He's our center, but he can play guard or tackle. He can play shade, 3 technique. And he's a two-way starter as well. So we're excited about these two. These two guys right here has probably been some of our core guys this summer that's pushed all their teammates, and that's why they're standing here now. Is because they're very good leaders, and we have a lot of high expectations for them.
Yeah, Ashley, now tell us your name. Tell us I guess you're a senior this year, and just talk to us a little bit about, just tell us who you are and what you do and what you like to do and what your future plans are and that kind of thing. So,
I'm Ashley Spigner. I've been playing football ever since I moved to Alabama, which I moved here in about 2nd grade, so I guess about a decade I've been playing football. And I've just been playing lineman my whole life. And I like it. I like the offensive line a lot. I think it's really cool. We have I just think it's really cool, the idea of just like a family of offensive line, just working together, playing together. My plans for after I get out of high school, I want to maybe go to UAB. That's where my sister's at, and I might be staying with her. And I might want to do something in the engineering field.
Oh, okay. Well, I know they're going to be counting on you, especially being a senior, to step it up and kind of be a leader of this football team. So,
Sure.
tell us about fall camp. How's it going? A little different than in the years past, or just a little bit about the fall camp. How tough it's been, or how easy it's been, or what's different about it?
In the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
The coach has been working as hard. Like we did have these coaches come in recently, and so we're having to learn a lot of plays, learn a lot of different names for plays and a lot of different covers and everything. But I think a lot of our teammates are good. They're very adaptable. I think we've been able to learn the plays pretty well, and we've all been used to playing different positions. So I think we're not going to have much of a problem. And they've been working as hard. We've been hitting each other pretty good. I think we're ready to hit somebody else this week.
There you go. I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Drew, tell us who you are. Tell us what your future plans are, and what position you play, and all that good stuff.
Drew Smith. I play linebacker. I've been at Plainview all my life. And crap.
That's okay. Well,
And
tell us about fall camp. How is the camp? How has the practice this summer been as far as?
well, they've worked us hard. I will say that. We've all worked really hard together, and I think we're going to be all right this year.
Now you're a
Just 'cause I'm
senior.
Yes, sir, I'm a senior.
Okay. So I know y'all are excited. You know, it's finally game week, and I don't know that it's any easier during game week or anything like that, but you've got to be excited about playing Collinsville this week. You know, a pretty good football team. You're going to be traveling down to Collinsville, and you know they're going to have their community there, a big crowd. Of course, Plainview will have a big crowd, and probably a big crowd from the county, because I think that's the only game on Thursday night in the DeKalb County. So there's going to be a huge crowd there. So are you going to be a little nervous about it, or?
I don't know. The crowds haven't really got to me very recently. I've been playing for a while, and whenever I first started playing, the crowds kind of got to me. But now, I really focus on playing. I don't think the crowd really gets to me that much anymore.
What about you, Drew?
Just got to tone the crowd out and play ball.
There you go. Well, Coach, talk a little bit about these two guys. I know they're your standouts, probably, or a couple of your standouts. I know you got more than this, but you know you have to have 11 to really play football. But you know these guys have been there, and you know through the good and the bad, and so talk a little bit about these two
Well,
guys.
these two guys are champions. They're area champions from last year. They can't nobody take that away from them. And their goal right now is to win another area championship and go as far as they can in the playoffs. And after practice of the day, we asked the kids how many weeks the season is, and it was real quick. One kid popped up 15 weeks. Well, even though we're playing week 0, we still have that. Our goal is to make it to Auburn at the end of the season. That's what we all want to do, and that's what we're working towards. And we're going to take the kids that want to be with us and work hard. That's who we're taking. And right now, that's what we got. These kids have worked hard. These two guys have been outstanding this summer. They've worked their tail off, and they've pushed other kids as well, other players. I keep calling them kids, but they're not kids. They're growing up, and they're leaders, and they're having they're going to be a father one day and be in the workforce one day, and they have to. And they're proving that they're going to be able to handle those things when when life hits them. And I'm excited about the season. Like I said, these aren't our only two ball players. We got a lot of good ball players.
Absolutely.
We really do. These guys, Drew's very physical on the sound linebacker. He's also a physical back. He's going to get his carries, get some carries as well this year, and probably one of our faster guys as well.
Okay.
And then Ashley, he's a workhorse. He doesn't whine or complain about anything. Neither one of these guys do. They're always going at it. And I noticed the other day we were having a scrimmage, and Ashley, it seemed like he'd been playing on the D line the entire time. Finally had to take him out. He's not gonna say, "Hey, it's my turn I need somebody to rotate in for him." He just stays out there and grinds. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to be playing both sides of the ball. He wants to be on the field as special teams as much as he can. He's a good. They're both good ball players.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of guys you want on the field. Those that don't want to come off the field. So, and well, tell us. I know we opened up with Collinsville in week 0, as we call it, and I'm not a fan of week
I'm not
0,
a fan of
but,
week 0.
but it is what it is. So you inherited this schedule, and you've got to go with it. And then I know next week, we have to travel up to North Jackson. I'm sorry, I was about to say North Sand Mountain, but we travel to North Jackson, and to play a very good look like to me, just seeing them in the 7-on-7 camp, it's going to be a pretty good football team.
Yeah, they're definitely reloaded back to the North Jackson of old, but we're going to take care of Collinsville first. That's our number one priority. But schedule-wise, we do have North Jackson next, and that'll be a good game.
Yeah, and then we travel, I think, to Geraldine after that, so we don't get a home game for about 3 weeks before we get to play our first home game. Yeah, absolutely. And so I tell you what, it's going to be an exciting season, guys. We appreciate y'all coming on today, and we're going to talk a little more football. But if you guys want to go sit down now, and good luck with Collinsville Thursday night, and I plan on being there. And man, I hope we bring home the victory.
Sir, thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Nick, let's talk a little more football. And again, you come back home after being at Sylvania and in some different places, and of course you come back as a head coach this time. And the other 2 times you were a defensive coordinator and assistant coach. Well, tell us what's different coming back to Plainview as the head coach.
It's just a different capacity. Obviously, also everything's on you. As far as the difference in being a coordinator and a head coach, as a coordinator, you have your certain plans that you plan for each week, and you got to find the right guys to have on the field at the right time with the right packages versus the right personnel, and that's really your main focus all week. As the head coach, you got to, your special teams personnel, offensive personnel. We have 2 or 3 different kinds of personnel we need on the field in certain situations, whether we're spread package in 60 game, 90 game, whether we're in our package where we're trying to run the ball downhill, or whether we're in a heavy package and personnel on both sides and defensively as well. We're trying to run multiple fronts on defense and get different personnel and kids on the field and make it as difficult for the other teams to game plan for us as we can. And same thing with formations on offense, making sure our kids have all the equipment they need. And it's just totally different perspective.
Right.
But as far as coaching football, it's still football. And it's still.
Oh, absolutely.
When you get down to once we start practice, it's totally different. It's right back in the coach mode. But after the extra hours and everything else is a little bit different. But I've enjoyed it. I enjoy all that pressure, and I enjoy doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And being back home, I guess, what does it mean to you to, and I'm sure as a kid and going through the ranks, going to college and all the places you've been, you know, deep down inside, you always had this urge that, you know, man, I'd love to come back to Plainview at someday and be the head coach. So tell us, how did you feel once you got this opportunity?
Well, I cannot remember missing a Plainview football game, elementary all the way going through. We was at every ball game, and I watched those guys play for state championship against Dallas County and Laverne back in the early 90s. And I was growing. I couldn't wait to play football. I started in the 7th grade, and as a 7th grader, I'm just going all the way up through. I can remember the sounds and the smells and everything from as a 7th grader and the guys and the teams we played. At that time, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and your varsity was 10th, 11th, 12th. That was your 2 teams. Growing up with all these guys talking about Coach Putnam, I remember playing them all the way up. It just means something when you're somewhere and you've always went to school there and you dream to play, and then you get the chance to play, and then it goes, that career goes just like that, and then you move on to your career and what you want to do. And I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the places I've been, the places I've worked, and the people there, and then being able to come back. I think the timing's has been right for me. You know, it's been 18 years since I've been out of school, 19 since my senior year of football, almost 20 years, and the timing is right, and I'm excited about it. I think we have a really good coaching staff as well as a good football team this year. And it's nice being home. It really is. It means something when you put that, when you know what it means to put that jersey over your head, that Navy jersey over your head, and go to battle with somebody every week. It's a little different in the heart
Absolutely.
than it is anywhere else I've been. And that sound of all those cleats hitting that pavement on that walkway, walking down to that field, and just the different sounds and the smells, and the way the grass is cut, the way the sun sets on the backside of the stadium about 7 o'clock as the year goes through there, and that orange haze that comes into the sky. It's just all the memories of Plainview football just start coming back in your head, and it's exciting to be able to be here as a head coach or any capacity, and be able to coach these guys and watch them put that blue jersey on, white jersey for the first 3 weeks, but it's every game's a home game. We're going to try to, that's the hopefully have big crowds, and whether we're at home or on the road, it all feels the same to us. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure how much time we've got left, but one thing we probably need to talk about your assistant coaches. You mentioned them, and I know you had some new coaches coming in this year, some who have been there. So talk a little bit about our coaching staff and what they're doing. What they're coaching, what positions they coach, and that type of thing. So.
Chase Parker, he's a guy that was here the last 2 seasons. He was he helped Coach Vincent a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and he's one of the guys that knew most all these kids the best, and he does a good job, and he's willing to work. He don't care to tell you what his opinion is, and that's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job. I'm excited for him. It's his first role as a defensive coordinator, so I'm excited for him to be able to do that. And I know he's excited for it too. I'm sure he's a little nervous at the same time. But and then brought in Josh Clements, who was with me at Sylvania. He's offensive line coach there. He's our strength and conditioning coordinator, and our offensive line coach and defensive line coach as well. And, anybody that knows Josh knows how much of a hard worker he is. He's a hard-working guy.
Yeah,
he gets out there with the kids, and he's constantly out there with them all the time.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet him, and he's a little high-strung guy, isn't he? Talking to some people before I met him, they said, he reminds them a lot of Coach Cochran at Alabama, and after I met him, I thought, and I got to work with him in the kitchen as we were doing the pancake breakfast, and he's a hoot. He really is a nice guy. So
he's a good guy. He's a hard worker, and he cares a lot about the kids.
Yeah.
And then Brad Bruce brought in as offensive coordinator. He was at Appalachian with Coach Ernie Willingham for a little while, and then he was at Sardis for I think 11 years, and been at Crossville the last couple of years. And I'm glad to have him. I've known Brad for a long time, and he's very, very good offensive mind, and his formation does a good job with formations and moving people around. And I think that was a home run hire for us as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And as well, Paul Bell's helping with the linebackers, and then Nathan Ledbetter, my brother, he's helping with receivers and DBs. Also, we got John Prose, who's a volunteer coming back. Yeah. Philip Jackson, who's been around the program forever.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a Plainview guy, him and Josh York both,
Yeah.
they help, and they'll do anything they can to help. And they both help us up front, but they've been around and seen enough. They can see the whole picture of the field. Then I always leave people out. We got 11 guys, and Elijah White was a senior last year.
Yeah.
One of those seniors that graduated. Elijah's been helping us. Saul Jose's another one who's been around as a player and coach. He's going to coach, and he's a Plainview guy. Plainview means a lot to him.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to miss any. I know I always do this. We'll be sitting in our staff meetings, and coaches will say, "Send that to me," and I'll start putting all their names in my phone to send a message of what we covered or our practice plan or something we're going over, and I'll just have to start calling everybody's name out, and they'll be like, "You left me out. You left me out. You left me out." Let's see. I'm trying to go through. I got, as far as volunteer guys, it's John Prose, Philip Jackson, Josh York, Elijah White, Saul Jose, and Josh Clements, Brad Bruce, Chase Parker, Nathan Ledbetter, and Paul Bell.
Yeah.
Myself. I believe I've got everybody covered.
All right.
I'm sure there's somebody I probably missed.
I tell you what, great coaching staff, and I know I'm excited about football season. Man, it can't get here quick enough, but I'm sure you wish you had a few more days.
Oh
maybe,
yeah, I'd love to practice. I would love to practice for another month. If that's
Yeah.
not the case.
Well, a little bit. I know we've just got a few minutes here, but tell just a little bit about this is game week, and what's your schedule? How do you handle game week as far?
Well, this week's Thursday night game, which changes our normal routine on game week. So we've got to have a fairly long Monday and Tuesday to pack everything else in.
Right.
We basically got 2 meat and potato days for Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday's got obviously our pregame, work some of the work some irons out of some wrinkles, and iron a few things out up front, offensively and defensively, and a few things we've not had a chance to go over. We've got to put in this week, so we'll have longer practices these 2 days.
Right.
Just to make sure we're covering everything.
Sure.
We got our special teams. We got 2 days to go over all of our special teams, to go over all of our personnel, to go over our offense and defense, and get our drills and stuff that we need to put in to work on to have a chance to beat Collinsville.
Yeah. Well, Coach, it's here. I'm excited about football season, and we need to encourage. We play Thursday night. We're traveling down to Collinsville, and we encourage our community to get out, come out and support the Bears. Coming off a great season, and I know everybody's excited about this year and excited that you're back with Plainview, and I look forward to Thursday night, and we look forward to doing this. We're going to do this every week during football season. We'll come in, we'll talk about the games and talk about the opponent for the next week, and I tell you what, I'm excited and can't wait for it to get started.
Well, if you're going to go to Collinsville, you need to get there early. Because number one, they're going to be there. They have a good community support. They're going to be there early. So.
Oh, absolutely. It
won't take us long to fill their side.
Yeah, I was counting the rows, and there was like I think 5 rows if I counted it right on the visitor side. So if you want to see it, you better get there early, or you may be standing around the fence. So, I'll tell you what, it's here, and I'm excited. And again, welcome home, congratulations, and I can't wait to get started, Coach.
Thank you.
All right,
appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with you next week for the Coach Nick Ledbetter Show. Hope y'all have a
Hello,
great
folks.
week.
This is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City in Fort Payne, Alabama. I want to invite everybody to come out to our new location. We're at 1411 Glen Boulevard, right where you turn to go on Airport Road. We've got plenty of inventory for you to choose from. I got cars, trucks, vans, sport utility vehicles of any make and model. Come down here and visit us. Let us see what we can do for you. If you got some slow credit, I've got some banks that'll take care of that. We've got great financing, got a great selection of cars. Y'all come down here and see us.
Don't take the first deal that comes along when you can do better at BobbyLedbetter.com and Twin City Used Car Sales, located at 1411 Glen Boulevard in South Fort Payne.
At First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, we excel within the walls of our bank and outside these walls too. We're actively working with area schools to improve classrooms and supporting area student athletes on fields and courts. We work and worship at most churches in the Rainsville community. We also work to enhance the lives of area seniors, thanking them for a lifetime of contributions. We're the bankers and corporate citizens at First Southern State Bank. True community banking.